The ocean around Cape Town is known for its astounding beauty, attracting surfers and swimmers from all over the world. Yet, these exquisite waters are also home to one of the largest concentrations of great white sharks in the world. This is the story of people who watch over the oceans.
Got the shark that's swimming towards fishing. There we go. The beach has been cleared.
The ocean around Cape Town is known for its astounding beauty, attracting surfers and swimmers from all over the world. Yet, these exquisite waters are also home to one of the largest concentrations of great white sharks in the world. This is the story of people who watch over the oceans.
I was the first spotter. I think I spotted for about 3-4 years, and now I'm a manager. Shark attacks, they still taken lightly. People has got that attitude that it won't happen to me. You know, and I tell you, it can happen to anybody.
Each day, Monwabisi travels to the various beaches of Cape Town, hoping to prevent fatal shark attacks.
We are now on our way up to the mountain, Fishhook Mountain. Just need to check what's the visibility like, the color of the water. Then we see whether it's a shark there or not. When I got involved with the program, I fell in love with sharks. I started to understand them, and I think people need to be educated more about sharks.
Monwabisi's first port of call is to check the angle of the sun from above.
The day starts right now. The visibility is kind of looking good, but once the angle of the sun is in the perfect place, we're gonna have to change the flags into a green flag. That means good spotting conditions. At the moment, the glare is still a little bit strong. That's why we're flying a black flag down there. And obviously, as you can see down there, there's quite a crowd of people. It's gonna be 10 times worse later. This is the most important piece of equipment that we have, especially when we have a shark in the water. If you press this button, the siren goes off on the beach. Once that is sound, everybody just knows what to do.
Monwabisi spends time on various lookout points up in the mountains, overseeing his crew and seeing they have all the necessary equipment.
Tino, where are you? So I just need to give him some flags and explain to him where to look, where did I see my sharks yesterday. Speak to the lifeguards on the beach to be on the lookout, to actually listen for the whistle. I think at some point, if you do get sharks, you might have to just send one of the guys down on the beach.
I'll see you later.
Okay, cool. Being on the beach is fun, but I have to work. People will be there for holiday, and I just make sure that they're safe. If I have to take it back 10, 12 years ago, we used to swim, didn't even think of sharks. But now, swimming has changed a little bit for me, because I now know what they're capable of.
Cape Town's beaches have seen 29 shark attacks in the past 50 years. Many people have come to rely on the shark spotters for their safety.
The shark spotting program started back in 2004 after a young surfer was beaten by a shark. MUIZENBERG beachfront became a ghost town. People just didn't want to come and surf in MUIZENBERG.
Surfers like Greg Burtish, who started the Shark Spotters program, are the people most vulnerable to shark attacks.
Here in South Africa, there's no full-time lifeguards, so we only have voluntary lifeguards on public holidays and weekends during summer. We got Monwabisi involved, and we implemented the system where one of them would be on the beach down here to warn people and be able to set the alarm off, and the other one would go up on the mountain, which we realized was an asset to have, a mountain overlooking the ocean here, and that's where the visibility was.
The shark spotting program uses 4 different colored flags as part of an early warning system for people coming to the sea.
How's it going this morning? Okay.
All good.
I noticed that there's a red flag with a white shark on it. What does that signify?
The reason that we have a flag now is because that there's so much fish in the bay.
Okay.
Green flag, that's good spotting conditions. Black flag, that's poor spotting conditions. Red flag, high chance of a shark in the area, or there's been a sighting and the shark has moved on.
Okay.
And the white flag with the black shark in it, it's a no-go.
Thank you very much for the advice, and obviously I hope that the sharks don't get us. Okay then, cheers mate.
All right, cheers.
Even though the red flag signifies potential danger, beachgoers are willing to enter the water under Monwabisi's watchful eye. One of the shark spotters' jobs is to check the water temperature.
So if it picks up here, then the water is 2 degrees. If it picks up there, it's 10 degrees, you see.
sharks are more likely to appear when the water is 18 degrees or warmer.
So it's 2, 10, it's 12, 14, 16, 18.
So it's 18.
18.
The Shark Spotters program is unique. It focuses both on preventing attacks and conserving sharks, making it one of the most environmentally friendly programs in the world.
Yeah, we collect data on a daily basis, and this data has been analyzed by Alison.
Ah, great, and how are you?
Nice to see you. You had a good day?
It's been all right.
She has discovered that on a full moon, when the temperature is 18 degrees and above, there's a high chance of spotting a shark. So much activity, fishing activity on Fisher Beach, Yellowtail.
There was a very big gap in South Africa in terms of shark science. It's really important to understand what the sharks are doing because populations all over the world are under threat. Great white sharks in particular have very few young, a maximum of 10 every 2 to 3 years. In some of the developing countries you have shark hunts, where after a shark attack people will go out and try and kill as many sharks as possible, and that's recently happened in places like Reunion and Russia and even Egypt. In South Africa there's been a long-standing program, and that uses a combination of shark nets and drumlines to reduce local shark populations. In Cape Town, when we had a spate of shark attacks, all of those kind of options were looked at. Barriers, shark nets, culling, shark hunts, and even various kinds of deterrents. A local program had started through surfers, and it born the shark spotting program. Shark spotting is a unique program in that it doesn't try to change sharks' behavior or reduce shark numbers. It tries to change people behavior.
While most people look to the shark spotters for guidance, the program's flag protocol is not without controversy.
The shark spotting program unfortunately has experienced some bad publicity. We've been criticized of chasing the tourist away from the beach with our shark flags, with our sirens. Back in 2004, when there was a shark scare, everybody would clear the waters, climb into their cars and leave. Just a month after the program has started, people started now to just stand on the edge of the water and wait for the old clear call. That actually shows the effectiveness of the program.
One of the skeptics is KLEYNHANS, who runs the oldest and one of the most popular surf schools in South Africa.
I've surfed at MUIZENBERG Beach for 35 years and I've never seen a shark. We have tourists coming here and we have this flag system of the 4 different flags, which they started initially and it worked perfectly. Everyone understood it. Someone got clever and then on every color flag they put a picture of a shark. Now why would anyone do that? Because every time there's a flag flying, there's a picture of the shark. I had 4 cancellations, groups, in 1 week, purely because they saw the picture of the shark. Guys, just walk down the stairs and lie on the bottom of the stairs and we'll sort it out for you, sweetie. Happy days, man. Happy days. Do you know what a blue bottle is, my darling? Those little blue things, they float in the water. And if they touch you, they sting like crazy. Yeah, but they can't sting you through your wetsuit. If you see one, just don't touch it. If it ends up on you, you just put your hand under the water and it'll float on top. You don't have to freak out or panic about it. The shark spotters, they're on the mountain 5-6 kilometers away from the ocean, staring at the ocean all day. Whenever they see something big, they blow the siren. Sometimes it's whale, sometimes it's dolphin, sometimes it is shark. I know when the visibility is beautiful and it's clear, you can see the shape of the sharks, but come on, let's be honest here. These people are staring at the ocean for 10 hours at a time. You've got to be realistic about it. Put it under this arm. Come stand this way, so you're already facing the door. There you go. Have fun, guys. Cool. Happy days, Megan. The sharks have been protected species since it was in the 90s, early 90s. Which is also a problem because there's nothing in the feeding chain that takes out a great white shark. So what's going to happen is that there's just going to end up being more and more and more sharks eventually, I would imagine. Even if you look at the Australians, when they have attacks at their beaches, they send a patrol out and they kill the great white. So I think there should be some limitation. They should cull a certain percentage every year just to keep the balance right.
Killing sharks is not going to do us any favor. Sharks balances the numbers of seals and dolphins.
It's trying to balance the conservation of an animal that is important to a healthy ecosystem and then also the well-being of the communities.
Shark spotters received an urgent request to extend their program to Monwabisi Beach after high shark attack activity had led to its closure. This beach is popular with residents from the surrounding Cape Flats, where previously disadvantaged communities were housed during apartheid. Through training new shark spotters, the program also provides much-needed jobs.
This past couple of weeks, there's been shark sightings at Monwabisi Beach. We've seen up to 8 sharks. So the program is going to be there from now until sometime next year.
We don't see sharks now. They're not there now. They might not be here all day. There might not be sharks next week, 2 weeks after, 3 weeks, you know? But they will always be there.
There's still a long way to go because we need to educate the local community about the program and sharks. On Saturday, we had the shark flag, and I noticed one thing. No one is enthusiastic about that flag. They don't seem to know what to associate that flag with. We're talking about the community that doesn't have knowledge of the ocean. A community that is not coming from the fishing background.
Yesterday, they had 3 sharks.
Spotted here.
Yeah.
Very close to the beach area.
It's in a swim zone. I think in two times they had to clear the beach.
What would you give me as an advice?
You're gonna have to be able to stand in order for you to be kind of safe. But chest deep isn't 100% safe.
On a busy public holiday, a great white shark is spotted from the lookout station on the mountain. The spotters are under great stress and must take urgent action.
Got this shark that's swimming towards fishing.
A white flag is raised to warn swimmers that a shark is in the water.
There we go. The beach has been cleared.
People quickly exit the water, waiting for further signs from the spotters.
Okay, Mountains Cavalli, repeat message on.
Once the shark has swum away and the coast is clear, Monwabisi gives the go-ahead to reopen the beach.
Okay, roger that. Mountains fish should copy that message, over.
Roger that, roger patrol.
Okay, we'll be now reopening the beach, so we're gonna be flying the red flag, over.
White sharks are very large animals. They're very confident, and if they don't know what something is, they'll come and investigate it. And unfortunately, even an investigation on a human can cause severe injury. Most cases, over 70% of white shark attacks are a bite and release with no feeding.
When shark attack happens, there's so much to look at, circumstances before it happens. Some believe that it's mistaken identity. Some believe sharks are hungry. I believe it's out of curiosity.
Many shark researchers attribute the rise in the number of shark attacks to the fact that there are more people using the beaches.
In False Bay here at Cork Bay, the sharks have been seen and do follow the fishermen in that are literally chumming behind the boats and throwing fish heads over and blood and stuff. So there's a trail coming into a built-up residential recreational area. There's shark cage diving, which has taken off in the last 10 years, which I personally don't believe in. That should be happening within about a 100-kilometer radius of any recreational area.
When you're in the water and you've had your first wave, all that just goes out of your system. The reality surfers accept that there is a possibility that this can happen. But a real surfer and a true surfer will always take that risk. There's too much fun to be had in the ocean with the waves than worry about sharks.
I sometimes take the sea for granted because I'm at the ocean all the time, but at times I realize that the ocean is my life. I think it's the only thing I have. I'm not that educated, so I just look at it and think. It does basically put food on the table. In 2010, I witnessed Lloyd Skinner being eaten by a shark. At first, I thought it was a shark taking a seal, because the way it happened, he had so much birds flying, looking to pick up the remains, and the shark was busy chewing him. And I watched with disbelief. Then came 2011 last year. I never got to see the actual bite. When I got to the beach, there were a few guys rushing into the water, and I was one of them. But I immediately stopped when I actually picked up a shark swimming not far from the swimmer, Michael Cohen. They got to him, luckily, and they pulled him towards the beach. He lost his leg completely from knee down. I took off my shirt and applied it directly onto his knee. Took off my belt and I used it as a tourniquet. Those are the critical times because most shark victims die of blood loss. The belt actually saved Michael. Michael being beaten was a disaster, but with him being alive and with all that we all did, the medical response, the guys that pulled Michael out of the water, me and the tourniquet, it actually changed the whole story into something positive.
Monwabisi received an award from the Sea Rescue Institute for his brave and thoughtful actions.
I don't look myself as a hero. I think I just did what I had to do at the time. To me, it's not a big deal, but it feels good when one's work has been acknowledged. Maybe the next 20, 30 years, I'll be showing this to my kids. My daughter has got love for swimming. It's gonna be interesting when she grows older. She'll probably fall in love with surfing. When that time comes, I obviously have a duty of educating her about safety. I'm becoming a father for the second time next year. We'll see how things go, but the future is looking good.
For as long as sharks inhabit the sea, their natural environment, there is bound to be conflict between them and humans. Yet, Monwabisi and the shark spotters are working hard to show that people and sharks can coexist in the beautiful yet potentially dangerous oceans, and are now hoping to take their program to many more beaches across South Africa.